Revealed, whisper this miraculous phrase for 40 days and manifest your divine dreams. As dusk descended upon the quaint English village, Eleanor felt a divine whisper in the air. A gentle breeze, scented with blooming jasmine, floated through her home beside the centuries-old chapel. Every evening, she gathered her children, their innocent faces aglow with wonder, and with her heart wide open, invoked the patron saint of lost causes, St. Jude. With faith the size of a mustard seed, mountains can be moved, she would whisper, her voice trembling with reverence. Each word hung in the air, shimmering with the promise of miracles. Miracles had a way of finding their way to Eleanor. Just last month, a stray cat had wandered into their garden, bringing with it good fortune they never expected. The old widow next door received a bouquet of fresh flowers every Sunday, and the entire village buzzed with tales of sudden healings and unexpected blessings. Supernatural moments lived within the heart of their community. Even the sky had a way of shining brighter whenever prayers were offered. Yet tonight, the spirit felt different, charged, almost electric. As Eleanor clasped her children's hands, the room grew warmer, enveloped in sacred light. Just as her eldest murmured, "Mum, do you think our prayers really help?" The candle flames flickered wildly, dancing to a rhythm of their own. A profound presence filled the small room, igniting hope, shimmering with gold. Eleanor's heart soared as she felt a wave of reassurance. All they needed was those whispered prayers. Then darkness fell like a heavy veil when Mark, her beloved husband, walked in with a somber expression. The joy of their evenings dimmed as he shared the heart-wrenching news: the looming layoffs at his job. "I don't know how we'll manage, Eleanor," he murmured, vulnerability etched on his face. In that moment, doubt crept into their home, gnawing at the edges of Eleanor's unwavering faith. "Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue, with villagers rallying around them. Their support bore witness to Eleanor's unwavering hope. Yet, as days turned to nights, closer to their 40th day of prayer, Eleanor's heart grew heavy. Time began to feel like a ticking clock, reminding her of every fleeting moment. Desperation wove its way into her spirit, and thoughts of ventures away from faith, local charities, loans began to surface. It felt unthinkable. But as doubt shadowed her heart, an unexpected visitor arrived, Father Thomas, the wise priest. His gentle eyes seemed to see right through her worries. "Eleanor, this trial is not merely a burden. It is a divine calling for your family to witness a miracle." His words electrified the air, evoking memories of countless stories of faith triumphing over despair. What miracle awaited? Would her family be swept into the heart of a greater purpose? Just when despair threatened to consume her spirit, Eleanor felt a stirring whisper in her heart, a promise that the mountains of their fears could indeed be moved. The tension hung thick in the air as she stared at the flickering candle, aware that the dawn of revelation was near. Would she find the strength to walk the final steps of this journey, or would doubt drown her faith? Each day felt like a new chapter in a divine book yet to be written. Eleanor's heart was heavy, but her resolve burned brighter than the candlelight that flickered every evening. The whispers of St. Jude had become more urgent, echoing in her thoughts, weaving around her like a protective veil. As the children slept peacefully, Eleanor sat at the table with Mark, who seemed lost in thought. The silence spoke volumes, echoing their shared fears and unspoken dreams. "What if we prayed differently?" she suggested softly, breaking the spell of their worry. "What if we thanked God for our blessings instead of pleading for help?" Mark looked up, surprise mingling with curiosity. "You mean, thankfulness instead of fear?" "Yes. Every simple grace we have: this home, our children, the garden full of blooms." A glimmer sparked in her eyes as she felt the truth of her own words. "Perhaps by focusing on our gratitude, we'll chase the shadows away." Mark nodded slowly, touched by her faith. "Then let us try that. I'll do it with you." A weight lifted between them, a soft shift on the pathway of hope. In the following days, their prayers transformed. They whispered thanks with every breath, glorifying even the smallest blessings, counting them like stars in the midnight sky. The joy in their hearts began to radiate warmth throughout the house, casting out the darkness that had settled there. As they rooted themselves in this gratitude, a new presence seemed to envelop their home. Flowers bloomed with unexpected vibrance, and laughter echoed with fresh buoyancy. The children played innocently, oblivious to the worries of adults, and Eleanor found solace in their laughter, reminding her of life's purest miracles. One afternoon, as Eleanor walked through the village, stepping lightly over cobblestones warmed by the sun, she felt an unusual stirring in her spirit. The world around her vibrated with a sacred harmony, as if each stone held a whispered secret of joy. Shops buzzed with cheerful voices, and neighbors exchanged smiles that sparkled with hope. In the midst of this tapestry, Eleanor encountered Mrs. Parker, the old widow from next door, sitting on her usual bench with a small basket of goodies. "Eleanor, dear. You won't believe it, I've been blessed with a visit from my son. He's returning from the city, and he's bringing work with him." Her eyes sparkled with joy, reflecting the miraculous in the ordinary. Eleanor felt a surge of encouragement. If Mrs. Parker could receive such good news, perhaps hope was also at their doorstep. "That's wonderful news," she replied, her heart lifted. "What keeps our hearts buoyant can shift the tides for us all." As the days rolled into evenings, Eleanor's faith continued to grow alongside the vibrant blooms of their garden. Yet, the shadow of uncertainty still lingered, like a reluctant guest. Only a few days remained until their 40th, until the door of miracles opened wide. Each night brought prayer, gratitude intertwined with gentle hope, whispered beneath a sky full of stars. And then on the eve of the 40th day, as Eleanor knelt quietly, a powerful thought struck her. What if their prayers weren't just for their own deliverance but for the heart of the entire village? Suddenly, a gentle breeze fluttered through the open window, carrying the scent of jasmine once more. It felt like a sign. It whispered promises of unity, of miracle woven within despair. Whatever awaited them could be far greater than they ever imagined. What awaited at dawn's embrace? Would all the prayers combine to create a miracle that would blanket the village in grace? Or was this merely the beginning of an even greater journey that would unfold before them? Eleanor awoke the next morning with a sense of anticipation swirling through her, like the soft mist that kissed the earth at dawn. She could hardly contain the flutter of her heart as she rose to greet the day. The light filtering through the curtains danced playfully across the room, illuminating her children's small faces with a heavenly glow. Today was the 40th day. It felt significant, sacred, an ember stoked by the flames of their fervent prayers. She rushed to prepare breakfast, her hands moving with a purpose that felt almost divine. Each action was an offering, stirring the porridge, slicing fresh bread, brewing fragrant tea. As she served her family, Eleanor felt the bubbling energy within her reach out toward her loved ones. "Let us start our day with gratitude," she suggested, holding each hand as she spoke. "Let us remember all that brings us joy and find peace in the small things." Mark clasped her hand tight, nodding with a warm smile. "Yes, let us lift our hearts." And so they did. They took turns sharing their thanksgivings, affirming every detail they cherished. The children's laughter filled the air as they named their favorite toys, their friends, and even the sunshine pouring through the window. Each word seemed to weave a thread of connection, a fabric of hope uniting them as one. After breakfast, Eleanor encouraged her family to step into the garden. The vibrant blooms stood tall and radiant, awaiting their appreciation. The roses blushed with pink, while the daisies danced wantonly in the gentle breeze. Kneeling among them, Eleanor closed her eyes, feeling their soft petals brush against her fingers. It was a reminder that beauty often thrived in difficult places, a promise of life amid uncertainty. In that sacred space, as Eleanor breathed in the sweet scent of blossoms, she felt a surge of insight wash over her. What if their gratitude mustn't just encompass their personal worlds? What if it transcended to the village, extending outward like the rays of the sun? A wave of conviction swept through her. "Let us share this spirit of gratitude with everyone," she exclaimed, her voice ringing with newfound passion. Mark raised an eyebrow, intrigued. What do you mean? What if we invite our neighbors to our garden to celebrate this 40th day? We can share our stories of blessings and create a chain of gratitude that connects us all. Mark pondered her words. That could be powerful, but what if they refuse? Eleanor smiled gently, understanding the tension in his voice. That shouldn't stop us. The beauty of gratitude is that it multiplies when shared. It may ignite something in them too. They began to prepare for the gathering, sending invitations wrapped with sincerity to every household in the village. Soon, word spread, igniting sparks of curiosity and hope. Their small effort was becoming a communal flame, illuminating corners of every heart that had felt dimmed by life's burdens. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, casting a golden hue across the village, Eleanor sensed it in the air, the promise of miracles poised on the brink of manifestation. But uncertainty still pricked at her soul like a thorn. What would happen if their neighbors held tightly to doubt instead of leaping into gratitude? Yet, deep within, she felt an unwavering confidence. They had planted the seeds of hope. Now it was time for the village to awaken to its own potential. What would unfold as they gathered? Would their whispers of gratitude transform into a chorus so powerful that it would shift the atmosphere of their community forever? What divine surprises awaited them on this miraculous 40th day? The sun rose the next morning, a canvas of gold spilling warmth across the village. Eleanor stood at the window, the gentle light illuminating her thoughts. Today was not just another day, it was the culmination of their intention. She felt a soft whisper in her heart, assuring her that something remarkable was about to unfold. She moved about preparing for their gathering, each task a sacred ritual. Cooking, setting the tables, arranging flowers, she poured her spirit into every detail. The garden, already colorful with blooms, now shimmered with the promise of connection. As she stepped outside, Eleanor paused for a moment, allowing her senses to drink in the serenity. The birds chirped in harmony, a symphony of nature that accompanied silent prayers. Her children, buzzing with excitement, helped arrange the seating. Their laughter was infectious, lifting Eleanor's heart. She glanced at Mark, who was hanging lanterns in the trees. He looked focused, lost in thought. "Are you ready for this?" she asked, a hint of concern in her voice. Mark turned, and for the first time that day, a broad smile spread across his face. "I am, I think. It's just the unknown, isn't it?" Eleanor nodded, understanding all too well. "Yes, but maybe that's where the magic is, waiting for us." As the sky deepened toward evening, the first neighbors began to arrive. They approached hesitantly, unsure of what to expect. Eleanor greeted them with open arms, her spirit radiating warmth. A whisper of excitement danced in the air as they stepped into the garden. "Welcome. We're so glad you're here," Eleanor exclaimed, her voice carrying the joy of their purpose. Slowly, the ambience shifted. Hesitant laughter and shy smiles blossomed into genuine warmth. Strangers became neighbors as they found their places among the flowers. Each person brought their stories, their joys, and even their fears, all merging into a tapestry that enveloped the gathering. Eleanor invited everyone to share their blessings, starting with her family. One by one, they spoke of moments that stirred their hearts, simple joys, acts of kindness, and the beauty of everyday life. The atmosphere grew electric with gratitude, the energy palpable as it moved through the crowd. One neighbor, Mrs. Hardy, stood up with hesitant feet. I haven't felt thankful in a long time," she began, her voice trembling. "I lost my husband last spring, and each day has felt heavy." Eleanor's heart ached for her. "Thank you for sharing that," she said softly. "What a brave step." Mrs. Hardy continued, her voice gaining strength. "But today, I stand here surrounded by hope, and I remember that he loved the garden. I'm grateful for the memories we shared here." A hush fell over the gathering, a moment of divine connection and understanding. It sparked a ripple effect, inspiring others to share their burdens and blessings. As stories melded into a beautiful symphony of voice and emotion, Eleanor felt an overwhelming sense of unity enveloping them all. The essence of gratitude transformed the air, wrapping them in hope. It was truly a sacred gathering in the spirit of vulnerability and strength. Just when Eleanor felt they had reached a profound epiphany, the sky above shifted. Dark clouds began to swirl ominously, and an unexpected chill swept through the crowd. Gasps of concern flowed like ripples. "What does this mean?" someone whispered. Eleanor's heart raced, but she knew, deep down, this was part of the unfolding story. Could divine revelation still break through even when the skies seemed uncertain? Her spirit stirred with questions. Was this the moment they had been waiting for? As thunder rumbled in the distance, she gazed deeply into the eyes of her neighbors. "Stay with me," she urged, gripping her hands together as if holding a fragile dream. Will their gathering withstand the storm? What divine surprises lay hidden behind the clouds, waiting to be revealed? The rumble of thunder echoed a warning, but Eleanor felt a curious flutter of faith within her. She held her breath, feeling each heartbeat align with the rising tension around her. A flicker of lightning illuminated the gathering for an instant, casting shadows that danced among the flowers. Yet, she sensed something greater than the storm, the stirrings of hope swelling in her neighbors. "Let us not fear the storm, but embrace it," Eleanor said, her voice rising above the murmur of concern. "Nature, like our lives, has its tumultuous moments, but it is also a source of renewal. Let us share more of our hearts. What we face this evening can transform us." Encouraged by her words, a few brave souls spoke up, fed by the electric atmosphere. A young man named David, his hands trembling as he held his drink, shared how he had been struggling with his job lately. "I feel lost," he admitted. "But today brings a new promise. I can feel it in the air." Eleanor nodded, every word sparking a wave of compassion. "You are not alone, David. We are all together in this, sharing our burdens and our joys. Let this be a moment of renewal for us all." The clouds thickened, yet the warmth among them began to counter the chill. Voices rose, tales intertwining, painting vivid pictures of resilience and triumph over adversity. Eleanor's heart swelled as she witnessed neighbors lean into one another. Old connections deepened while new friendships blossomed in fragility. Amidst the stories, a soft, melodic hum floated through the air. Eleanor turned her gaze to Lydia, a neighbor with a gentle spirit and a song that soothed the soul. She had begun to sing a familiar hymn, words of trust echoing together in times of trial, "He is near." Slowly, others joined in, tentative at first, but gaining strength. The melody wrapped around them like a warm hug, breathing life into fears. Tears of joy spilled from Eleanor's eyes as the unity turned a chaotic evening into a moment of devotion. The storm outside felt less fearsome when buoyed by this song. Then, amidst the chorus, a heavy raindrop fell on Eleanor's cheek, followed by another. It didn't take long for the sky to open up, sending a curtain of rain down upon the garden. Gasps filled the air, surprise turned into laughter as people instinctively huddled closer together, now drenched but not disheartened. "Embrace it." Eleanor laughed, holding her arms wide as if inviting the heavens themselves. "Let the rain wash over us, cleansing our hearts and our fears." Mark stood beside her, a gleam of awe in his eyes. "This is what we prayed for, isn't it? More than just a gathering, it's a gift." A renewed energy surged forward. Neighbors laughed heartily, splashing in puddles and raising their hands in celebration. In spite of the storm, or perhaps because of it, each soul was illuminated with a divine light. As the rain washed away their worries, Eleanor overheard someone shout, "Look!" The crowd turned to see a magnificent rainbow begin to form, arching gracefully in the sky, vibrant against the storm clouds. "God's promise!" someone exclaimed, awe mingling with joy. Eleanor's heart skipped a beat, the sight a confirmation of hope. The colors gleamed like a beacon, serving as a reminder of blessings even amid tumult. Yet as hearts began to lift and the laughter filled the air, a stillness washed over the crowd. They sensed a divine presence, something tender and raw. It was as if the storm had stripped them bare, leaving only their honest emotions exposed. Eleanor closed her eyes, inviting the moment with gratitude. What had this gathering become? She pondered what else awaited them in this beautiful chaos. As the rain fell harder, she whispered, "What more will we discover together?" As the evening danced on under the spell of the rainbow, a question lingered in the air. Would this gathering be the start of something truly transformative? What had God prepared for them beyond the revelation of a storm? The rain continued its gentle symphony, each drop a note in the grand score of that unforgettable evening. Eleanor opened her eyes, returning to the world pulsating around her. She could see faces illuminated by joy and curiosity, transformed by the promise that hung in the air. The colors of the rainbow felt almost palpable as they intertwined with the community's laughter. "Gather close," David called out, his spirit brightening as he embraced the moment. "Let us share what we truly hope for, what we believe is meant for us." A hush fell over the crowd, each person sensing the weight of David's words. They stepped closer together, forming a circle, hands intertwined like a woven tapestry. Eleanor could feel the warmth of their shared energy, the mingling of hopes heating the cool night air. As the last raindrops faded, Lydia took the lead again, her gentle voice flowing like the water that had just caressed their skin. "Let us speak aloud our prayers, our dreams for more." One by one, neighbors began to share their desires, laying bare their innermost wishes. A lady with silver-streaked hair spoke of her longing for reconciliation with her estranged sister. A child timidly spoke of wanting courage to face his fears. Each confession became a thread, weaving their hearts closer together in vulnerability. Eleanor's heart swelled as she listened. Each dream echoed the longing for connection. For purpose. For a glimpse into a brighter future. She felt their hopes thread through the atmosphere, vibrant and tangible, like the colors of the rainbow still stretching across the sky. After a few moments, Mark stepped forward, his eyes shining with inspiration. "What if we make a pact tonight?" he suggested. "A promise to support one another in these hopes? A commitment to pray together for the next 40 days, letting God reveal our paths," he proposed with a fervor that inspired renewed faith among them. A chorus of agreement erupted, nods and smiles igniting the air around them. The joy of this shared commitment breathed life into their dreams. It was a moment marked not only by rain and rainbows but by a divine intention they would carry into their lives. "Let us write them down," Eleanor said impulsively, sensing the urgency of the moment. "We can each write down our dreams, and then we'll pray together each time we meet." Hands moved busily, hearts racing. Notes exchanged, whispers of aspirations exchanged like sacred wisdom. As at least a dozen dreams began to take shape on slips of paper, a gust of wind swept through the trees. The leaves rustled, bringing a harmony that echoed through the crowd like a celestial choir. Eleanor noticed that the wind carried a sudden chill, almost as if the universe was shifting, preparing to reveal something. She shivered, the excitement mingling with a hint of the unknown. "Can you feel that?" she said with a grin, her spirit surfacing with delight. "It's as if God himself is here, nudging us forward." Barely masking her enthusiasm, Eleanor let the words flow from her heart. "Tonight, we stand together as a testament of faith. As we step into this journey, let us remember, God moves in ways unseen. What we believe, what we pray for can manifest in the most miraculous forms." The embers of hope sparked brighter, illuminating every corner of the garden. The neighborhood caught fire with anticipation, for they were not just gathering, they were embarking on a sacred venture, one that could transform lives. As they finished securing their dreams in the community journal, Eleanor looked at the horizon, the sunset wrapping around the shadows of the trees, but then, a flicker of doubt crept into her mind. What if this journey became too burdensome? What if dreams broke under the weight of time and expectations? Questions began to swirl as the wind picked up once more. Will we embrace every part of this journey? She mused aloud. Will we trust in God's path, no matter how uncertain? And as silence enveloped the group, the air thickened with an expectation of the unfolding mystery. What awaited them in these coming days of prayer? What miracle would emerge from the whispers of their hearts? The stillness lingered, charged with the unspoken fears and hopes of the group. Each face reflected a mosaic of emotions, excitement intertwined with trepidation. The wind carried a whisper, drawing Eleanor's eyes back to the sky, where the first stars began to shimmer, a hint of the divine tapestry that awaited revelation. "Let us take a moment to pray," David suggested, breaking through the collective musings. His voice was calm, each word imbued with the essence of faith. "Let us invite the Spirit to guide us as we embark on this journey. Together, we'll begin with gratitude." Everyone closed their eyes, their hands still linked as they bowed their heads. The atmosphere thickened with reverence, each heart attuning to the sacred intention. Softly, Eleanor began to lead, her voice steady as she spoke words of thanks for the rain, for the gathered community, and for the dreams now brimming in their hearts. A warmth enveloped the circle, and as they surrendered their fears to the divine, an undercurrent of hope surged through them. One by one, the prayers flowed naturally, like a stream finding its course. Lydia offered thanks for family, while Mark prayed for healing in both body and spirit. The child's small voice added a note of innocence, expressing his wish for bravery, while others chimed in with their own heartfelt words. As they prayed, Eleanor felt a sense of lightness wash over her. The weight of doubt began to dissolve under the fervor of collective faith. Doubts were still there, but they seemed insignificant when juxtaposed with the power of their intentions. She realized that they didn't just bear their dreams alone, each prayer forged a connection, a bond of trust and mutual support. Suddenly, another gust of wind swirled around them, lifting leaves from the ground and swirling them like golden confetti. In that moment, Eleanor opened her eyes, awash in the beauty of the gathering. The air shimmered with possibility, and the growing darkness of the night morphed into a fabric rich with celestial wonder. Then, as if on cue, David spoke once more, his eyes bright with inspiration. What if we declare a phrase to carry with us in our hearts? Something we can speak each day, a reminder of our commitment and our faith in this journey. Eleanor felt a stirring in her spirit. Yes. Let us choose a phrase that embodies our shared hopes. Whispers erupted as they bounced ideas off one another, mixing laughter with reverent contemplation. Eventually, a phrase emerged, simple but profound. In faith, our dreams are revealed. As they spoke it aloud for the first time, a tidal wave of energy surged through the group. The words seemed to hang in the air, drawing strength from every heart present. An undeniable pulse arose, as if heaven took note. Let us write it down, too. Lydia exclaimed, her voice buoyed by excitement. They inscribed the phrase upon their community journal, a solemn token of their collective journey into the days ahead. Suddenly, a soft melody captured Eleanor's attention. The sound echoed faintly from somewhere deep within the woods, sweet and ethereal. She turned to the others. Do you hear that? She asked, eyes wide with wonder. The crowd fell silent, straining to listen. Some nodded, a sense of mystery brewing in the atmosphere. As the music swelled in intensity, a light flickered from the trees, beckoning them forward. A collective gasp echoed through the circle as they sensed an invitation from the unseen. Should we go? Mark asked, uncertainty lacing his question. Eleanor's heart pounded, caught between curiosity and caution. What lay hidden beyond the trees? Was this a divine signal to follow? And so she stood at the threshold of that decision, her mind racing with possibilities. Would they step into the unknown together, drawn by the divine melody? The choice loomed large, tantalizing and charged with promise. What awaited them beyond the veil of familiarity? Would they dare to follow the whispering song and unlock the deeper mysteries God had for them? The rustle of leaves danced in the wind as Eleanor took a step forward, her heart racing with anticipation. The soft melody seemed to wrap around her, urging her toward the brilliance of the mysterious light. It felt as if the very essence of hope beckoned her closer, pulling the others along with her as they broke the circle to venture deeper into the woods. Let us go, together. She called out, her voice tinged with both eagerness and resolve. The shared energy of the group surged, encouraging a unified movement toward the enchanting sound. As they walked, the melody enveloped them, its tranquil notes stitching together the fabric of their hope. Lydia, her eyes shimmering in the dusk, leaned closer to Eleanor, her voice barely above a whisper. Do you think it's a sign? What do you think we'll find? There was excitement mixed with a hint of vulnerability in her question. Eleanor paused, glancing back at the assembled faces. I believe it is a sign, she replied. A call to embrace whatever lies ahead, a chance for us to reveal our faith in action. As they ventured deeper, the light grew brighter, flickering like fireflies caught in a gentle breeze. It illuminated the path ahead, casting playful shadows on the trees. The air felt charged, tinged with a sacred quality that thrilled Eleanor's spirit. Suddenly, the music shifted, introducing a joy-filled refrain that seemed to resonate with their hearts. It was as if the melody held their aspirations, their fears, and desires intertwined within its sweet harmony, inviting them forward. David led the way, a trusting smile on his face. "Let us keep declaring our phrase. It strengthens us," he suggested, glancing occasionally at the ethereal glow. "In faith, our dreams are revealed," they chorused, their voices rising like the branches overhead reaching for the sky. Each repetition laid another layer of courage over their souls, each word propelling them deeper into the unknown. As the final notes of the melody faded, they stepped into a small clearing bathed in silvery light. In the center stood an ancient tree, its gnarled branches stretching toward the heavens, adorned with glimmering orbs that pulsated like stars. The sight was breathtaking, a sacred offering, as if the very spirit of the earth awaited their arrival. Eleanor stepped closer, mesmerized. "This is incredible," she breathed, the awe thick in her voice. The air was ripe with divine energy, alive with purpose. "It feels like we have stepped into a realm of possibility." Mark, feeling emboldened and curious, touched the tree's bark, feeling the rough texture beneath his fingers. "What do you think it means?" he pondered aloud, a mix of this wonder and apprehension coloring his voice. Eleanor looked to her friends, feeling the weight of the moment. Each of them hoped for transformation, for dreams that brought healing and purpose. They were standing at a threshold, a portal to the divine tapestry they had hoped to weave together. "Maybe it's about trust," Lydia suggested softly, her eyes glistening with new insight. "Trusting that God will reveal the path ahead." The energy around them intensified, and a breeze swirled through the clearing, rustling the leaves. The orbs hanging from the branches seemed to flicker more brightly as if they were responding to their thoughts. Eleanor felt an overwhelming sense of belonging and assurance. They had surrendered their fears and hopes, and now, the divine invitation lay before them, a mystery to unravel at the hand of faith. As they inhaled the potent air, ready to make their next move, a voice soft yet powerful seemed to echo through the clearing. "Look closer," it whispered, urging them to explore, to seek out the deeper meanings behind their dreams. Eleanor's heart raced. What awaited them within this sacred moment? What secrets did the tree and its glowing orbs hold? Embracing the unknown, they stood poised to unlock their destinies in faith. What revelation lay in the stars aligned above them, waiting for their discovery? Eleanor took a deep breath, the air thick with possibility. The whisper danced around her like the rustling leaves, vibrant and alive. "Look closer," it beckoned them to unveil more than just the sight before them. The ancient tree stood steadfast, a witness to eras past, cradling secrets and wisdom in its gnarled bark. "What do we do?" Mark's voice was soft, filled with reverence. Lydia still gazed at the orbs, their light pulsing like the heartbeat of the universe itself. It was as if they were made of dreams yet to be realized. "Do you feel that?" Eleanor said, sensing the pulse of anticipation in her own chest. "It's like the very essence of hope is asking us to believe. Perhaps we need to reach out one by one." They approached the majestic tree. Their hands met the cool, rough surface of its bark. A warmth surged through Eleanor as her palm pressed against the deep grooves. It felt as if the tree was alive, holding space for their hopes. "God wants us to understand something important," David said quietly, almost to himself. His voice seemed to fill the clearing and echo back to them, amplifying the sacred energy surrounding them. "This isn't just about the light. It's about connection." As he spoke, the orbs above shimmered and swayed gently, casting a spectrum of colors around them. A flood of peace washed over Eleanor, wiping away lingering doubts. She closed her eyes momentarily, immersing herself in the presence of the tree and its magic. "In faith, our dreams are revealed," they began to chant once more, the words flowing from their lips like living water. Each echo strengthened their resolve, bridging their hearts together even tighter. The tree responded, the orbs vibrating in rhythm with their prayer. Suddenly, without warning, one orb detached from the tree and floated toward them, bathing them in a warm glow. It hovered just above their heads, a radiant symbol of their collective faith. Lydia gasped, her eyes wide with wonder. "What is happening?" "Maybe it's a message," Mark whispered, all lining his voice. As they all fixed their eyes on the orb, it pulsed even more fiercely, illuminating their faces and casting flickering shadows that danced merrily among the trees. Eleanor felt tears welling up in her eyes. This was no mere coincidence, this was divine. What are you trying to tell us? She called out into the stillness. The response was immediate. A gentle gust of wind brushed through the clearing, carrying the scent of wildflowers and earth, filling them with clarity and warmth. In that captivating moment, Eleanor understood. The orb, a manifestation of their faith, represented the dreams they held dear. But it also showed them a path they had yet to take. We need to open our hearts, she said softly, urgency infusing her voice. Perhaps it's about more than just receiving. We must be willing to act in faith, to take that leap. The air crackled with the truth of her words, and the orb shone brightly, almost as if it agreed. Each of them felt a profound reminder. Faith wasn't passive, it was a call to action. As they stood united under the magical luminescence, they sensed their hearts intertwining in a deeper commitment, not just for their dreams, but to support each other in revealing and fulfilling them. What next, Lord? Eleanor whispered, eyes wide, searching for signs. What did the universe ask of them in this moment of clarity? The orb began to descend slowly, pulsating in rhythm with their hearts. Would they dare to follow its guidance? The weight of anticipation hung palpably in the air as they prepared to listen intently to the wisdom of the tree and the dreams that awaited beyond the realms of the known. As the light flickered gently, Eleanor could almost hear the unspoken answer resonating within her. What awaited them if they took that first step into the unknown? What miraculous journey lay just beyond the reach of their fingers? As the dawn broke over the village, it cast soft golden rays across Eleanor's garden, where the ancient tree still stood, its orbs shimmering with newfound energy. The warmth of the light infused the air with expectation, wrapping around Eleanor and her companions, drawing them deeper into communion. Today was not simply the 40th day of whispered prayers, today was the commencement of their transformation. Eleanor felt the magic swirling in the air, a blend of hope and trust, as if the universe itself were calling them to embark on a journey far greater than they had imagined. With hearts pounding, they encircled the tree, hands clasped tightly as they released the last remnants of doubt. Eleanor inhaled deeply, her breath resonating with the collective resolve of her neighbors. What are you revealing to us? She murmured, her voice barely above a whisper yet trembling with anticipation. As if in answer, the orb above them pulsated in brilliance, illuminating the clearing with ethereal light. It hovered slowly closer to the center of their circle, inviting them to look deeper. A wave of peace washed over Eleanor as she felt an undeniable pull towards it, the warmth spreading from the tree through their entwined fingers, reminding them of their interconnected dreams. What if we are called to take action together? Mark spoke up, his voice filled with conviction. What if our faith leads us to something that extends beyond our individual hopes? Beside him, David stepped forward, inspired. What if we begin a project that cultivates gratitude and spreads hope throughout the village? We've just experienced the power of unity. What if we build on that? Gradually, ideas began to flow like water from a spring. Their vulnerability in sharing their dreams sparked a movement. Ideas flowed freely, weaving dreams and visions of joy, community gatherings filled with laughter, acts of kindness that could ripple through the hearts of their neighbors. They rallied around the notion of a gratitude festival, where stories, poems, and offerings of thanks could be shared, weaving a tapestry of connection that would envelop every corner of their village. The orb hovered closer, bathing them in warm, radiant light as ideas blossomed into action. Let us make it happen together, Eleanor exclaimed, her heart swelling with joy. This will unite us, and as we create something beautiful, our hopes will guide the way to miracles. The energy thrumming within the group surged with excitement as they each dove into the planning and visioning. Laughter mingled with purpose, invigorating their spirits as they set to work, reminding themselves that this was no ordinary event but a manifestation of their faith and gratitude. As the sun climbed higher, illuminating their joyful work, the village came alive in anticipation. Flyers were crafted, invitations were sent, and a sense of unearthed joy filled the air. Each neighbor joined with enthusiasm, reconnecting through tasks that rallied the community around shared hopes. Every flower planted, every corner decorated, and every song practiced echoed the heartbeat of their gratitude. On the day of the festival, the village was transformed. The garden was alive with colors, laughter intertwined with the breeze, and every face gleamed with hope like the vibrant petals surrounding them. The orb remained steadfast above the ancient tree, a gleaming emblem of their collective spirit. As night fell, the festival glowed warmly under lanterns shimmering like stars. A collective hush hushed the crowd as Eleanor stepped forward, her heart full, longing to convey the significance of this gathering. Look at what we've created. From whispered prayers to a united community, our faith together has transformed our dreams into reality. A moment of silence lingered, and then spontaneous applause erupted from the villagers. Each clap of their hands resonated with the acknowledgement of how far they had come. As the evening unfolded, filled with storytelling, food, and heartfelt gratitude, an unprecedented peace settled over Eleanor and her family. The hardships they had once feared stood washed away by shared experiences and heartfelt moments. The feeling of divine presence wrapped them all in warmth, a manifestation of love and unity pulsing through each heart. It was time for the final ceremonial moment. They shared their individual dreams aloud, recalling what they pledged to one another. Their voices intertwined, sweet guidance leading their promise to the stars above. In faith, our dreams are revealed. Ringing through the evening air. A majestic stillness fell, and Eleanor opened her eyes to see the orb finally descend gently, touching the ground before them, sending sparkles cascading throughout the garden. Gasps of wonder resonated among the villagers as they witnessed the miraculous transformation. Each spark of light fanned out, illuminating the path for each dreamer. With tears shimmering in her eyes, Eleanor whispered, "We've touched the divine together. May we continue to carry this light forward." The echoes resonated long into the night, and the stars above twinkled like assurances of hope, draping the village in grace. No longer were they just individuals lost in fear, they had woven a community rooted in gratitude and faith. As they embraced one another, the sacred connection solidified, a promise that their collective journey would ripple out like waves of abundant grace, nurturing all who crossed their path. Their stories, their dreams, their faith, all were shared, not just on this night but to continue flowing forward into the future. And in the heart of it all, Eleanor felt the truth: a deeper miracle had manifested. They had forged a home for dreams, living testimonies of faith stitched together by divine love. Now, let this be a call for you, dear friends. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this miraculous ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. Each click, each share amplifies the light of hope. Let us honor this journey by spreading the joy.